Hey, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to another video. Today, we're grading each of the Texans' 5 picks of the 2021 NFL Draft. And without further ado, let's get started. So we entered the draft with 8 picks in all, and we came out with 5 players. The first one being quarterback Davis Mills from Stanford. He selected 67th overall in round 3. And personally, I give this pick like about a B minus. The reasoning for that is at first I was kind of disappointed because I thought we were going to go primarily defense, and I definitely wasn't expecting a quarterback to be the first pick of all picks. So that was kind of why I was initially disappointed. But then when I started reading more on Davis Mills and stuff, it seems like he there's a lot of things to like about Davis Mills. He was supposed to be like a lot of analysts are very high on Davis Mills, and some say that if he were to stay for his senior year, that he would have been a first-round talent. So the fact that we got him in round 3 is pretty good value, I would say. I mean, Kellen Mond and Kyle Trask did go before him, but it was reported that the Texans were already on the phone with Davis Mills kind of before those picks happened. So it seems that he was their guy all along. And there is that connection with Pep Hamilton, having connections with Stanford. And I think it's a pretty solid pick. He has good touch, and he has good poise in the pocket. And he's pretty sneakily fast. So I think that's a lot of traits to like about him. So what grade would you give Davis Mills?
Yeah, I'll probably give it like around a B minus, probably like a solid B. At first, like you were saying, you were kind of surprised about the pick. I was very surprised, and I was also very disappointed because, I mean, picking a quarterback at round 67, not round 67, pick 67, which is your first pick in the NFL draft, it kind of dictates that basically Deshaun Watson is 100% gone. And I mean, of course, I got disappointed about that. But yeah, as you were saying, you started reading along. I also was reading a lot about Davis Mills. I watched a few interviews with him. I watched a couple of games, the UCLA game and another one. I don't remember which one exactly. But I love the way that he carries himself, the way that he plays. He has like a very high confidence level of himself, not to a term where he's cocky, but like the way he carries himself, I love it. Like for an NFL quarterback, that's what you're gonna have to be. With the way he answered questions after like post game and pre game, just different things like that. He answered it like a true professional. I believe he's gonna be the third quarterback at first. The starting quarterback's gonna be Tyrod Taylor, and I believe Ryan Finley's gonna back him up. But I believe in maybe the middle of the season or maybe late in the season, like around week 14, maybe week 13, I could eventually see Davis Mills getting the start. Whether it being Tyrod getting hurt or Tyrod not playing well, or maybe Ryan Finley just, I don't know what happens with him, but I could 100% see Davis Mills starting at some point this season. But yeah, going on what you were saying about the Pep Hamilton thing. I believe Pep Hamilton was keeping ties on him for like the past 3-4 years or something like that. He followed him, I think, since out of high school, or I think when he got to Stanford. I think it was because of the Andrew Luck connection. I'm not sure about that one, but that's what I believe was because of the Andrew Luck thing. But yeah, and all in all, I love the pick. For the value, as you were saying, it's very good value for him. I saw some reports where he would be like a top 10 pick next year if he were to continue to play at the level he was playing at Stanford. It's just because of the small sample size that he got at Stanford. That's why he was so like a mid-round pick or whatever. But yeah, I love the pick. Let's hope it works out or whatever.
Yeah, and I think the reason why he fell so far was because that he had I think 2 knee surgeries, and he does wear a knee brace, so I think that's why some teams aren't too high on him and kind of worrying about his mobility. But he did run a 4.58 or so at Pro Day. Obviously, Pro Day measurements aren't like the most accurate, but it shows that he does have some nice straight line speed. And I also think like what this means for like the whole Deshaun Watson situation. It seems like Ian Rappaport and other insiders have kind of been saying that Davis Mills, this pick, is kind of like insurance for whatever happens with Deshaun. Like no one really knows what's going to happen with Watson, whether he gets maybe the civil lawsuit turns criminal lawsuit. Like who knows? No one knows if Deshaun Watson's going to play with the Texans at all, or his future is really up in the air. So Davis Mills really provides that kind of safety, I guess, like kind of safeguard. Just in case whatever happens. And he is a good prospect to like develop under such a good veteran in Tyrod Taylor. And he is in a good situation to kind of prosper. I mean, you have a good O-line, you have decent coaching in Pep Hamilton, you have solid weapons in Cooks, Conley, and the other rookies that we got. And so I think he got into a good situation. And it's kind of funny how he wasn't expecting the Texans to call him. That is how surprising the pick was to even him. But I think this definitely means that Deshaun is 100% gone though.
Yeah. Like having three quarterbacks or three active quarterbacks, presumably active on the roster, pretty much dictates Deshaun is gone. And then especially waiting till after the draft, for that post June 1st cap hit, I believe it's gonna be much lower than what it would be before the draft. So, like all signs right now is just pointing towards Deshaun becoming an exit to Houston or entering an exit to Houston. But yeah, it's pretty much gone already.
Yeah, I think a lot of people didn't like it because like there's so much talent like Joseph Osai from Texas, who was on the board, and a lot of other great prospects like defensive wise, and like other people are saying if you're already gonna like not be a good team like this next season, like you're gonna like end up like in round 1, first pick overall next draft. Why even bother drafting a quarterback now? Is what the other side says, and I see that. I mean, it just I mean, Nick Caserio has always had a tradition of drafting quarterbacks, like quality quarterbacks like as backups, I guess. He did it a lot in like kind of involved in the process in New England. So I think it shouldn't have been too surprising to us. We kind of should have maybe expected a possibility of that. But yeah, that's kind of what went into that, and we'll just have to see from there. But now let's talk about Nico Collins. He was drafted 89th overall in round 3, and I'd initially give this pick. I give this pick a A minus. A. I give this pick an A actually because like he's such a good player. I mean, he's arguably could have been a second round talent. I think possibly some people would even go as far as to say a first round talent, if not for this deep wide receiver class. But I think he's such a great pick overall. I think the only reason why it's not an A plus instead of an A because of the compensation that we had to give up for him. A fourth this year, a fifth this year, and like this draft that we just did, and then like a Rams fourth next year. I think that was a lot to give up for Nico Collins. I really like the player, very good size, good speed, good ball skills, 50-50 balls. I really like that, and we definitely need that on our team, and it was definitely a position of need. So I like the pick, but just like what we had to give up to get a guy of his caliber. I think if we drafted Nico Collins like at the 67th overall, and maybe I don't know, like drafted Davis Mills a little later, and like maybe traded up to get Davis Mills, maybe that would have been better optics wise. But I don't know. I guess people like are kind of content with how that went down. Kind of redeemed Nick Caserio in a bit initially on like initial draft day reactions. Getting Nico Collins, and that really helped a lot.
Yeah, I love the Nico Collins pick. He's a very lengthy wide receiver. I believe he's like 6'3" or 6'4" or something like that. He ran a pretty solid 40. His dimensions is like pretty unique to be a wide receiver. He's like a big body wide receiver, but he still pretty has some good speed on him. His route tree at Michigan, we didn't really get to see too much of his route tree. They didn't really use him as well as he should have been used. I believe they used him as like that second wide receiver role or something like that. But he didn't really get to run too many routes. He was just put on that like fade route or a simple slant route or like a screen route. He wasn't really put on like no tough routes like a deep post, like a deep out or a comeback route or anything like that. He wasn't able to display the routes that he could run. And I believe that's one of the main reasons why he fell to us. I believe if he was properly used in Michigan, as you were saying, he would probably be like a first round talent. But yeah, all in all, I love the pick. I'll probably give it like an A minus, A, like around what you would have to, like around what you put. I believe he could be a wide receiver 1 eventually. If we decide on moving Cooks maybe after the season to clear even more cap or whatever, I believe he could be a wide receiver 1. Regardless who the quarterback is, I believe he's still going to produce some decent numbers, similar to like DeAndre Hopkins. Not in any sense like he's going to be that, but like in terms of putting up numbers, whoever the quarterback is. But yeah, I love the pick.
Yeah, I mean, like in our wide receiver room is super like stacked. I mean, like there's a lot of people in that wide receiver room, very, very crowded. You have like Cooks, Conley, Cobb, Kiki QT. You have other guys like Andre Roberts, Alex Erickson. I'm forgetting a lot of names. Also the undrafted guys, Damon Hazleton, Marlon Williams. So it's going to be a lot of competition, but I think Nico Collins will definitely make it to like kind of be like a day 1 starter for this team. I think he can be wide receiver 2 like this season, like maybe eventually grow into that role. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think he could be like Cooks, Collins, and then Cobb. I'm not sure how Conley will do, but yeah, but just I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up as like a top 10 rookie wide receiver this year. I think it's definitely possible, maybe even higher, really. But it's just like the fact that our quarterback position isn't the greatest. I mean, but yeah, pretty high and happy with Nico Collins for sure. All right, so the next draftee we're going to be talking about is Brevin Jordan from Miami. He was drafted 147th overall in round 5, and I'd give this pick A minus, just because this position wasn't that much of a need compared to other spots on the defense, but really good value, like best player available type of pick, like selecting him in round 5. I mean, he was projected to go in round 2. Like a lot of analysts considered him like tight end number 2, right behind Pitts. So the fact that we got him 147th overall is really good. I like Brevin Jordan. He's very athletic. He has nice hands, and I think he can be a day 1 starter for this team as well. And I feel like he could be tight end number 1. Surprisingly, I think initially it will be Pharaoh Brown tight end number 1, and I'm not sure about Jordan Akins. He's already 29 years old. He wasn't super great last season. Like, he was okay. He had his moments, but it wasn't that impressive. And then you have Kahale Waring, who had limited snaps, didn't really show too much in those snaps. And there's probably a reason why our coaches didn't play him that much. So that is a question mark too. And then you have Izzo, who's primarily blocking, and then Anthony Auclair, who's all right, I guess. But yeah, so what do you think about this pick?
Yeah, I love the Brevin Jordan pick. Especially the round that we got him. What was he, a 4th, 5th round pick? Yeah. And you were saying that he was like a 2nd round projected, maybe 1st round projected, and some mock drafts. How you were saying he was behind Pitts? Yeah, I believe it's like tight end number 2, tight end number 3. I love the way that the Miami used him. Sometimes they put him out as like a slot wide receiver type of role. Even though he's a tight end, he's a big body tight end, but they use him similar to how Kyle Pitts was used. Sometimes they put him like outside, like as an outside receiver, or sometimes in the slot, and sometimes at regular tight end. And then one thing that I love about him is his willingness to block. That's like one of the main tight ends in this draft, who's like, I guess, multi-dimensional, I guess. Like, there's some tight ends in this draft who are primarily blocking tight ends or primarily receiving tight ends. But this guy, he's like pretty much both. He can block, he can catch. He's very good at yards after the catch, similar to Jordan Akins. He can make guys miss. And one standout play to me that I saw, I'm not sure which game it was, but he made a catch and hurdled a defender. I mean, it wasn't like anything crazy. It was just a small little jump. But for a tight end to hurdle a guy, that takes some serious athleticism. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I love the pick. As I said, like a B+, A- around there.
Yeah, I really like Brevin Jordan. He's definitely, I mean, that's pretty great. I mean, weapons for, I don't know, Davis Mills in the future, or whatever quarterback that we have. I think he can be someone great in the future. Day 1 starter, in my opinion. Will definitely get snaps. All right, so the next player we're going to be talking about is linebacker Garrett Wallow from TCU. He was drafted 170th overall in round 5. And I'd give this pick kind of a C+, just given the fact that we traded like 3 picks to get him. We traded two late 6th round picks and a 7th round pick to move up to get a 5th round pick. So you traded 2 6th round picks to get a 5th round pick, and then you traded the 7th round pick to move 4 spots in the 5th round to get to 170. So I'm not sure if it was really that worth it to get a guy like Garrett Wallow, who probably would have been there in the 6th, maybe, because I don't know. But he does bring a lot of intangibles, like his leadership, and he was a tackling machine. A pretty smart guy. So, and linebacker is definitely a need. I mean, we do have a lot of linebackers, but they're all on like 1-year contracts and free agents. So, it's not guaranteed that all those linebackers will pan out. But you guys, like the linebacker room is Cunningham, Kirksey, Pierre Lewis, Jordan Jenkins, I think, and then Joe Thomas and others. I probably forgot a few there, but yeah, there's so many linebackers there. So I doubt that you will get any snaps as a starter or as a rotational piece in a sense. I know linebacker is important to Tampa too, but I don't know. There's just too many guys in the linebacker room. I feel like he's going to be primarily special teams, kind of have that Dylan Cole role. But he has been healthy, so hopefully that he doesn't have that part of Dylan Cole, the injury wise. But yeah, I'd give this pick like a C plus.
Yeah, I'll probably give that pick like a B minus. I actually love the pick. A lot of people from TCU called him like I guess the general of the defense. He was like the main guy, kind of like the Bernard McKinney in the sense of I guess giving out the plays. He plays at a very high energy level. He's pretty much all over the field. He's in the backfield. He's back in pass coverage. But one thing that really stands out to me, he's a very solid pass coverage linebacker. And that's something that we desperately lacked and desperately need in this defense, especially in a Tampa 2. Zach Cunningham, he's not that fast. He's not also that great in pass coverage. Christian Kirksey, pretty much the same thing, more of a run-stuffing linebacker. Joe Thomas, and then all those other guys. I think our best pass coverage linebacker as of right now is probably like KPL, Kevin Pierre-Louis. But I think Gallo could eventually, like obviously not year one, be a starter, but eventually grow into a bigger role, maybe like the linebacker 2, linebacker 3 spot for pass coverage. As I said, he plays at a very high energy, and a lot of people compared him to Brian Cushing, which is, I believe, interesting. I see a little bit of that in him, but also, I guess because of his energy level, that's why people compared him to him. Brian Cushing was also a very high energy level player who was also solid in pass coverage, and pretty much Gallo plays like him in a sense. But yeah, I love the pick. I don't love the sense of trading up for him like that. Well, we gave up 2-6 and then the 7th to trade up 4 spots, whatever. But I believe the pick is nice, but as you said, trading up for him, I would have rather just waited. And if he's not there, oh well.
Yeah, and I also forgot Cam Magruder-Hill in that list of linebackers I mentioned, so he's probably going to be behind him as well, being like a rookie. So yeah, but I think he could be nice for us. It's just wait and see at this point, I guess. But not a bad pick by any means, but yeah, still have to see. And then next player that we're going to be talking about is Roy Lopez, defensive tackle from Arizona. He's picked 195th overall and in the 6th round. So I'd give him like a solid B. You're not going to have too high expectations for a 6th round pick per se. And it was a position of need. I thought it was going to be addressed like kind of earlier in the draft. But honestly, he's a really good player, I think, very underrated. Yeah, I like what I saw from his film. Very powerful guy who does have a nice skill set pass rush wise, and very tenacious, high motor guy who moves pretty quick for someone his size. So I think Roy Lopez is gonna kind of be a pretty good contributor on our team, maybe a rotational inside D-line guy, because we only have like Dunn, Blacklock, and Nico Collins there, and he probably could beat out Dunn, I think, and since it's 4-3, he'll probably have a spot on this team, and will definitely make the 53-man roster in my opinion. But what do you think about Roy Lopez?
Yeah, I really like the pick. For a 6th rounder, watching some highlights from him, he pretty much seems like a 4th round, 5th round type of guy. Not really so much of a late 6th round guy, but he's already becoming a fan favorite for Houston Texans fans. Some people have already given him the nickname. I think it's Big Sexy or something like that. I don't know, but he's already becoming a fan favorite. But one thing that kind of scares me about that is that people are gonna have high expectations for him early on, and he's not a guy who's gonna come in and, like as you were saying, start day one. He's probably gonna be like a rotational guy. Probably behind like Blacklock, maybe Omenahu if they start him at D tackle. I'm not sure, but yeah, I believe he's gonna be a pretty solid rotational guy. And by any means, not a bad pick for the 6th round. As I said, he looks like more like a 4th, 5th round type of guy. Very underrated, as you were saying. Very high motor, energetic, all of that. He has like all of the, I guess, tools to be a successful D tackle. And as you were saying, his speed for his size is very, very good. He kind of reminds me of a I don't know if I'm gonna give the comparison, but yeah, I love that pick. I hope he can pan out well. Probably give it like a B minus, solid B. But yeah, I love that pick.
Yeah, he has great size too at 6'2", 318 pounds. Absolute tank, and yeah, I think a lot of people like that pick in general. So overall, I give this draft like a solid B, maybe B plus in a sense. I think a lot of national media analysts are really sleeping on this draft from the Texans. He got really great weapons in Collins and Brevin Jordan, and they need to realize that Davis Mills was kind of a necessary pick. I know we spent a 3rd round, but like it's not like the end of the world in a sense. And there have been instances where a 3rd round pick QB or later has panned out. Of course, obviously the chances of that happening are kind of low, but I mean there is that possibility, of course. And so, and then the other guys, I feel like I feel like are not like super bad picks by any means. Like you won't find a really bad pick. I think all the teams this year didn't really have like an awful pick, besides like a few picks in that draft. Like no one had like a terrible draft in all. So I think like Texans should have been getting this bad rap of like the worst draft in the NFL. But yeah, that's my thoughts. So yeah, I'd give it like a solid B plus overall.
Yeah, I'll give it like a solid B, B plus, as you were saying. I believe one of the main reasons media analysts and all of that were giving the Houston Texans such a bad, I guess, rating for the draft is because I guess the lack of draft picks, which really aren't true. It's just the lack of early picks. We entered the draft, as you said, with eight picks total, and then we got five rookies out of it. We traded some picks away, but yeah, as you're saying, like the guys that we drafted, they're pretty high quality guys. And going back on the quarterback thing, we've seen guys like Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott be drafted in the third. I think Dak Prescott was like a fourth. He was either a third or fourth round pick. I'm not sure. But yeah, as you're saying, there's a very low chance of that happening. But we've seen it happen before. And then obviously, Tom Brady in the seventh round, obviously not going to be nothing like that. But we've seen very many late round quarterbacks become something at least average quarterback. And then going back on the tight end, we get a very good potential starting tight end one, and then a pretty solid wide receiver. At best, his ceiling is probably like a wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2. Very good pick. And then we saw some holes in the wide receiver room with Nico Collins, tight end room, Brevin Jordan, D tackle room with Roy Lopez. And then I guess Gallo was a solid pick, nothing crazy. But yeah, I don't know why media analysts are sleeping on us. I guess it's just because of the Houston Texans and DeAndre Hopkins left. Or we traded DeAndre Hopkins, we let go of J.J. Watt. Deshaun Watson wants out. Jadeveon Clowney was traded for, I guess, such a bad trade. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know why. But I hope this draft can pan out. And it looks like it will. In terms of, like, I guess, the talent-wise, the tape and all of that.
Yeah, and in order for this draft to be a success, I would say 2 of these 5 guys should be hits. And I think you definitely have those in Collins and Brevin Jordan. So I think this draft will end up being a good one in hindsight. Like I guess it's 2 years from now, 1 year from now. And it really shows that Nick Caserio isn't afraid to trade up, be aggressive to get the guys that he wants. It was kind of a tradition in Patriots in New England to like really trade down and accumulate more picks. But we kind of saw the opposite during the draft. So maybe it was Bill Belichick holding Nick Caserio back. But yeah, I like what I saw from Nick Caserio, that he went and got his guys. And I like that aggression from general managers. And yeah, we'll have to see what this means in the future. Like I guess with the whole Deshaun Watson situation, and what kind of picks we'll get from that is to be decided. But yeah, do you have any final thoughts before we wrap up the video?
Not really, but I actually believe Davis Mills can actually be something in this league. A lot of people are hating on the pick, I guess just for the sense it was a third round pick. We should have gotten someone better, just a Masai or whatever. But I actually have a lot of confidence in him. By watching him, he has a very good demeanor about him, very good confidence level, all of that. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. At least 2 hits in this draft, as you were saying, with Brevin Jordan and Nico Collins. But I also believe Davis Mills is going to be a hit in the future. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I feel like at the very least he'll be a competent backup for us. It wouldn't be the worst thing ever for him to be a competent backup. But I think the ceiling is pretty high for him. Just given his traits, and he's a pretty smart guy coming from Stanford. So who knows? He might become someone great. I really hope that, he really pans out for us. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Let us know your thoughts on this draft class. And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Thank y'all for watching. Peace.